Good day everyone! Today, I'm going to show you how to make a setup uniform for female senior high school. Let's start! These are the tools and materials needed in pattern drafting. So we have pattern paper, tape measure, hip curve, ruler, marker, French curve, scissors, and carbon paper. To start drafting the pattern, first, draw a perpendicular line from the top edge of your pattern. At least you have 1.5 inches. And then, from the left edge of your pattern paper, measure 3/4 for your button placket. And mark the corner A as your starting point. From point A to the right, use 1/2 of the shoulder width. Then mark this point as point B. Then from point B to get point C, measure 2 inches. So this is your point C. Project point B downward. From point A to the right, measure 2 3/4 inches for the next width. So this is now your point B. Then connect point B to point C using ruler. From point A downward, measure the chest height. So this is point E. And then from point A downward, measure the figure length. So this is point F. Again, from point A downward, measure the blouse length plus 1/2 inch for the front. So this is now your point G. Then project point E, point F, and point G to the right using ruler. From point E to the right, use the chest measurement. Chest divided by 2. To get point H. Connect point C to point H with a diagonal line. From point F, use the waist measurement. So, waist divided by 4. Since we have darts or tacks, we have to add 1 inch. To get point I. From point A downward, use the armhole measurement. Armhole divided by 2. To get point J. Project point J to the right. Then from point J to the right, use the bust measurement. So, bust divided by 4. So, this is now your point K. Connect point H to point K using French curve. So before you shape this part, make sure that you get the exact armhole measurement. Then, after you get the armhole measurement, you may shape the armhole using French curve. Then connect K to I using hip curve. So this is how you will use the hip curve. And then from point G to the right, use the hip measurement. So hip divided by 4. Then, so this is now your point L. Connect point I to point L using hip curve. So, let us extend our line. Then, connect I to L. Then, connect L to G using hip curve. So, for the tacks, measure the bust height. From the shoulder neck point downward. And then the bust distance from this point to the left. So this is now your point M. So from your point M to the left, use the bust distance. So bust distance divided by 2. So this is point N. Then bring down your measurement to point F up to point G. Also 3 inches or 1/2 of the bust distance. Then, connect your points. So, this is the intersection point of M and N. So, this is now your point O. Then, from point O, left and right, measure 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch on both sides. So this one is point P. And this one is point Q. Connect point M and N to P, then Q to M and N. Then from this point, this intersection line, measure 1/2 inch on both, 1/8 inch on both sides. Then connect it to point Q and point P. So this is now your tucks. Then for the neckline, so I use 6.5 inches depth. So this is a V-shaped neckline. So this is now your point R. Then connect point D to point R with a diagonal line. So our front pattern for the basic blouse is already done. To draft the back pattern, we need to use this front pattern. So from point A, which since this is our starting point, so let's start measuring the back neck depth. So I use 1 inch. So this is point 1. Then shape the back neckline from point 1 to point D using French curve. From point C upward, measure 1/2 inch to get point 2. Connect point 2 to point D using ruler. Then from point H to the right, move 1/2 inch. So this is point 3. Then shape the back armhole using French curve, passing over point 2, 3, and point K. Make sure that they will meet on the point of the front shoulder point. Then for the tucks, just add 1 inch upward. So this is point 4. Then extend your line upward up to point 4. Then connect point 4 to point Q, point P to point 4. And then, for the hemline of your back, so this part or this straight line is your back part of your blouse. Again, from this intersection point, measure 1/8 on both sides and then connect it to point Q and point P. And this straight line is for the back part. So, we don't have additional allowance since the back part is center fold. So for the side, you just trace it. They are the same. So to separate the back pattern from the front, so we need to use a carbon paper. So place it in between your pattern paper. So to separate the front pattern from the back, we need to trace all the back markings. So let's start on the neckline. So let us connect point D to point 1 by shaping the back neckline. And then trace also point D to point 2 since this is your back shoulder. Then point 2 to point 3. Then point 3 to point K. Then point K to point I. Point I to point L. Then point L to G, straight line. And then the tacks, you need to trace also the markings for the tacks. So this is higher than the front since the front has a bust measurement. That's why we need to get it exactly on the position of the bust. Then the center front, center back. Then the center of your dart. Make sure that you trace all the lines for the back part before you remove the carbon paper. So this is our back part. Back pattern. For the collar pattern, we need to measure the front neckline and the back neckline. Then add the two measurements. So 1/2 of the neck measurement is 9.5 inches. To drop the collar pattern, get another sheet of pattern paper. Then make a center fold. Draw a horizontal line on top of your pattern paper. Mark the corner A as your starting point. From point A, use 3 inches width of your collar pattern. So this is point B. Another 3 to make your line straight. From the center fold, use the 1/2 of the neck circumference or the neck width and depth. So when we measure the front and back necklines, we get 9.5 inches. So mark it as your collar length. Then connect. From this point, so this is point C and D. From point D to the right, measure 1 inch to get point E. Extend your point B to the right. Then from point C upward, measure 3/8 inch to get point F. Then connect E to F with a diagonal line. Then get the center of point B and C by folding your tape measure into 2. To get point G. Connect point C to G using hip curve. So this is our collar pattern. For the sleeve pattern, we need to measure the armhole. Before we draft the pattern. Then get another sheet of pattern paper. Make a center hole. First, draw a horizontal on top of your pattern paper with 1 1/4 allowance on top. So mark the corner A as your starting point. From point A, use the sleeve length to get point B. Then add 1.5 inches for the hemline to get point C. Project point B and C to the right. Then from point B upward, measure 2.5 inches. So this is the height of your cup. To get point D. Then project point D to the right. From point A, in line with point B, use the armhole measurement. So, armhole divided by 2. So, this is point E. Connect point A to E with a diagonal line. Then, get the center of point A to E to get point F. Then get the center of A to F to get point G. Then also get the center of point F to E to get point H. Then from point G, measure 5/8 inch upward. Point F is 3/8 inch. Then point H is 1/4 inch. So G to I, then F to J, H to downward K. Then shape the cup portion of your sleeve using French curve. Then reverse your French curve. This shape is only for the back part. Then bring down 3/8 Then 1/4 for the front part of the sleeve. Then this one is the same. And then from point B to the right, use the arm girth measurement. Arm girth divided by 2. To get point L. Connect E to L. So our sleeve pattern is already done. Make sure that the cup portion of the sleeve is the same as the armhole of your blouse.